What's good, y'all? This is Take a Time Out, episode 25. 25 episodes in. Check out our socials at the top of the episode. I wanted to shout that out because we had a parlay that banged on Twitter, so check that out. And TikTok and Instagram, all that. But we're going to play another game. Where it's a theme, man. We're starting to play more games, and it's been fun. But we're going to do a start, bench, cut this week. Yeah, so we're going to go through like 5 scenarios of start, bench, cut, and we'll see what we got. So the first one is Spider Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Start, bench, cut.
I think it's important. You did say this is all based off this season's performance.
Yeah. This is all based off of this season, what they've done this season. Who would you take?
So who are we taking through the first quarter of the year of the NBA?
Mm-hmm.
Out of Shai, Fox, and Spider.
Start,
bench, first cut. Thing, I'm gonna start Shai. Shai Alexander. I think that's pretty proven. I mean, he's averaging 30 points a game, and he just looks like he's taking another leap, adding a little bit more threes to his thing, to his bag. So I'm taking Shai as my starter. Now this is where it gets kind of hard. It's between Fox and Spider for who's getting bench and cut. Staying out of my feelings here, but regardlessly, I'm taking Spider on the bench and cutting De'Aaron Fox. And I'm only saying that because Spider has looked really good when he has been playing. I know a couple last 3 or 4 games he hasn't looked great, but neither has De'Aaron Fox for a couple of those games either. I'm just basing it off who I think has better potential, so I'm benching Spider, cutting De'Aaron Fox, sadly.
Wow.
What are you doing, Nate?
I don't disagree with anything you just said.
You taking all those 3 in that order?
In that exact order.
I'm starting Shai. I'm benching Fox.
Cutting Spider.
And I'm cutting Spider. You see the jersey today. Yeah. The jersey today is Swipe of the Fox. It's one of my favorite nicknames in the association, Swipe of the Fox. Fox has been playing unreal, out of his mind. Like, the possession he had the other night where he missed the free throw, took it out, he banged the 3. Like, he's just playing on, like, 3-point wise, he's playing on another level. He wouldn't be in the conversation if he wasn't shooting threes like he has been lately. So if he continues that, and we've seen that with a couple players, like Tyrese is taking more threes now. LaMelo's starting to ramp up his threes. Like, we're starting to see players getting their bag. So, all right, I'll start with this next one. We got Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic, and Jason Tatum. You know where I'm going, baby. And this is homer as it gets, but I'm starting Tatum. And let me give a reason real quick. He's the best rebounder on this list. He does it all, probably the best on this list. And he's outside Durant, he's the most proven winner on this list. So give me Tatum to start. I'm benching Luka. I mean, it's tough. Durant is playing out of his mind. This past week, he averaged 36 points per game. I think it was 64% from the field and 66% from 3.
Yeah. No, this is probably one of the harder ones we're doing. But in your exact order is how I was going to take mine as well. Tatum's kind of like the do-everything type of player. Yeah. Like literally everything you need. But it's what I was really debating was Doncic and Durant. Because those are 2 GOATs. I would say Durant's more of a GOAT, but Doncic's working his way up there to be one. But I think Doncic, I can't say his name right now, but I think he's going to be on an MVP level this season. Durant's already been looking really good. That's point given every year, but in this very moment, I'm taking that exact order.
Luka. That's his nickname.
Luka. Since we're doing what have you done for me lately, I'm going to go Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, and then I'm cutting Luka.
You're cutting Luka?
Mm-hmm.
I respect it. I thought somebody was going to bench Tatum. I really did.
It's hard to cut the coldest white boy in the league.
It is. It is. The next one we got, we'll let Nate start this one. It's LaMelo Ball, Paul George, and Anthony Edwards.
Once again, I don't know. I think I'm starting Ant. All right.
Okay.
Honestly, we're probably going to keep that order. I'm going to bench Paul George, and then I'm going to cut LaMelo.
Man.
It's tough.
That's tough. Only because, the last 6 games, LaMelo's been playing, I don't even know, absurd.
He's averaging, 30.
Triple-double, Russell Westbrook type stains, almost. So, honestly, at this very moment, just because of the way LaMelo's been playing, these last couple games, I'll say the last 6 games have just been absolutely nuclear. I'm starting LaMelo, to be honest. I'm gonna start LaMelo. He's making a case for first team so far right now. Want to see how the rest of the season plays out. But then, sorry, I lost the list.
Ant and Paul George.
And then I'm benching Ant. He's been playing another step up this year too. He's been playing good, but PG has not been playing as good as those other two names on the list. So I'm cutting PG right now.
Yeah. Based off of his role and what he's doing for the team and dealing with all of it, I'm starting Ant, and then Paul George is who I'm talking about. He's had to play basically point guard and adjust to playing point guard all year. He's playing a whole different role. It's like, yeah, Ty Lue brought him over to the side when they made the James Harden trade, is what the reports were, and basically told him, like, no, you are who we're running through now. Like, you're our point guard. So shout out to him for taking on that role and stepping up. But in cut LaMelo, of course, this is hard because all these players that we're talking about today are good. So it's tough. You can start with next one. This is, if ESPN had a start bench cut, this is what they're posting. You can start, Kai. Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Man, these are like 3 MVP names. Mm-hmm. To be honest, at this very moment in this season, based off how these players have been playing, I'm going to start Embiid. Okay? I think Embiid is he's been playing really, really good. He's averaging over 30 points, I think, right now, or right around that. And he's just playing like another MVP caliber this season. Yeah. Right behind Embiid, this one's really hard between Jokic and Giannis because you know what they both can do. But this is off this season's performance. I'm going to take Giannis on the bench, and I'm cutting Jokic just because Jokic and the Nuggets, especially in the last couple games, have not looked very great. Giannis has been playing very good recently, so that's going to be my list for now. But that's very hard to do, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, Nate?
I think I'm going to have to start Giannis because, to be honest with you, when he needs to win a game, bro, nobody's stopping. No one's stopping
The freak
Giannis.
Greek.
I think I'm going to have to... Honestly, yeah. I think I'm going to start Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to bench Jokic. And I'm going to cut Embiid.
Embiid's getting cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're all going to have a different one. I'm starting Jokic. He's been missing his pick and roll partner.
That's what I'm saying.
That is true.
And he's still been putting up great numbers. Give me Embiid off the bench and Giannis. I'm cutting Giannis.
Cutting Giannis.
Yeah, Seth's not here, but Embiid, the free throw merchant. But you got to respect his game, man, because he gets to that basket and he knows how to draw fouls. So, yeah. I'll do this next one. 2 more. Jalen Brunson, Kyrie Irving, and Dame Dalla. We were talking about it, and this is probably the hardest one to me.
That's what I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
With how they're all playing right now, this is...
But this is hard. This based off of this season alone. Give me Jalen Brunson as the starter. Lillard coming off the bench. And, I mean, it's pretty easy for me to cut Kyrie, considering I'm a Boston Celtics fan. But no diss on this cut because he's been ramping up his play, and he's looking good. But, yeah, Brunson's on cloud 9. Lillard is starting to get it back. The Bucks are starting to look a lot better in general. And Kyrie and the Mavs are all at the top of their conference as well. So,
yeah, that list you made is exactly how mine was. Brunson's been playing absurd recently. He's wearing the crown in New York right now. I mean, he's just been playing super well. Lillard and Irving both started off pretty slow this year. But like Dom said, they're starting to kick it into gear, starting to play really well for their teams. I'm only going to pick this because I just think it's the best list. Lillard's definitely going to come off the bench for me and cutting Irving.
yeah.
Only reason I want to cut Irving is just because he hasn't been the first option, and he's just now kicking it into gear. But you can't sleep on him, man. Those are all great players.
I actually saw a stat this morning that I think it was from Bleacher Report, or a post, I should say. But this last couple games, Irving's shot over 50% from the field and like 49% from 3.
Yeah, cooking.
So I think I'm going to start Jalen Brunson. I'm actually going to bench Kyrie, and then I'm going to have to cut Dame.
Cutting Dame. Okay.
Yeah.
For right now. Yeah.
I get it. It's off this season.
And he did have probably, out of the bad stretches, that him and
Probably the worst
Kyrie had,
ones.
he probably had the worst bad stretch. So I respect it. You start this next one, Nate, because I think a couple of these players are some of your favorite players.
These are the biggest. All right, these 3 names. I'm just gonna list them off
Yeah.
right here, real quick. These are the biggest. Do not bet them. They are the biggest sellers ever. We got DeJounte Murray, Jaylen Brown, and Zach LaVine. First of all, I'm cutting Zach LaVine. Like, he just sells every time. And then I think I'm going to start Jaylen Brown and probably bench DeJounte.
Yeah, that's my exact list as well. Jaylen Brown, he's had a couple slump games, but he's still been playing really well. That whole Celtics team is beyond scary. Every time you watch them, man, can score from everywhere. Anyone can score. So it's kind of hard to cut Jaylen Brown. I'm taking him as my starter. DeJounte Murray, he's right on my bench. He's still playing really well this year, distributing the ball, and he has been working on his three-point game a little bit more. But LaVine has been hot or cold every game. It's either he's playing well or he's not dropping 10 points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be my list for right now.
I'm going to actually go with I'm starting DeJounte Murray. I've always been a DeJounte Murray guy back to his freaking Spurs days, man. I love DeJounte Murray. He was the youngest all-defensive first-team player ever. I don't know if you knew that. And, he's been killing it for the Hawks. I mean, if he was their one guard, I think we'd see a 28-point-per-game scorer giving great defense. So give me DeJounte Murray. And then my boy Brown coming off the bench and cutting LaVine. Brown's still trying to figure out. I mean, it's hard when you're used to an ISO style of play, and it's hard. We're still running the ISO style of play, and we got a lot of mouths to feed, and he's still putting up good numbers. So
that is a good reason for DeJounte Murray. You can't really sleep on his defense either.
Yeah, and
his
just
defense is locked.
he guards.
Pick up on that. Like when Trae Young was out, he looked really good as the
Oh
one.
my gosh, yeah, he was killing it. All right, next we're gonna do a couple burning questions. LaVine is being shopped right now. They're making calls. LaVine and the Bulls are not. If you're watching any of the reports, they're not looking very tight knit right now. Where do you think is the best fit? I'll start. I think it's the Kings. I think it's a team that isn't getting the 76ers are getting the top of like the talks right now, but I think the Kings are a good sleeper. It looks something like Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell, and some picks. And with that package, I think they're giving up the least to replace it with better option, because Davion Mitchell isn't even getting minutes over Keon Ellis right now, their rookie point guard that they got. And then Kevin Huerter can do the same thing that Zach LaVine does. He can do those dribble handoffs with Domantas Sabonis and shoot them threes that he's taken at maybe even a higher clip. So I think it's the best fit, and the Kings can do something with that money, and they're not a free agent destination, so why not go out and try to get Zach LaVine?
Yeah. I was actually going to pick out of the best teams for LaVine. I was going to say both the LA teams, both the Kings or the Lakers. I think it's probably his best fits where he could play. Those are both contending teams, first off, and they both have the pieces to go and trade for LaVine. And I think he would fit good in both roles. I mean, like you said, you gave all the reasons about the Kings. I actually seen something on Twitter that talked about LaVine possibly going there. And I really like the idea of that. But on the Lakers side of things, they could probably, I don't know, if you want to give up Austin Reeves or D'Angelo Russell, you probably have to shop one of them. But I just think of another big three in the Lakers, and they have all these wings that can come in and play. I think that'd be a really fun team to watch as well. And the Lakers do need a main scorer. I'm not trying to say AD's hot and cold too. AD either's gonna go off or not. LeBron's old, but he's been playing very great this year. But we need someone to kind of relay that off his shoulders a little bit. And you get a young person under contract, LaVine, proven scorer. I think it'd be a good fit for him.
Yeah, Lakers Twitter was absolutely set on fire when they dropped the report. I think it was a fake trade of them getting LaVine and Alex Caruso.
Oh, my God.
Which could be possible if you were willing to package. It was Rui, D'Angelo, Torian Prince, and one of your last picks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not getting them for cheap.
I don't know if they should give up Rui.
Nah, Rui's untouchable if I were me. Him and Reddish.
Yeah.
I could shop everyone else maybe.
Yeah, I mean, but if you watch Alex Caruso this year, he's another.
I mean, he's a
guards.
lockdown.
Dude, he guards. And you got a spot in either.
Yeah, y'all covered kind of I feel the two favorites.
Best fits, yeah.
I'm going to go low off the walls here, and this isn't I wouldn't necessarily say Zach LaVine should be this player, but I think the Spurs need to go out and get someone
That
else.
could be. That's
Because
about that
you
one.
draft Wemby number 1 overall. Your team doesn't even look competitive in just about probably 3/4 of the games that you play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to start building. I know it's early into his career, but you want to start building some type of culture that is actually going to produce wins. So, like I said, I don't know if Levine, who is currently pretty disgruntled, is your best option, but you got to go get somebody.
No,
Yeah,
I like that
that's
one too.
a good hypothetical trade. One other sneaky team that would be good for Levine would be the Orlando Magic, though. Straight off my head, they would be very good fit for Levine. Now that I was thinking about it, they have a lot of pieces they could trade to get him,
Yep.
and man, they need that one superstar on the team. If they get that with their team they have now, without giving up any primary players, man, that team could be fun.
And
to
with how
watch.
they've been playing.
Yeah,
like,
that team could be sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, out of them, real quick, out of them point guards, who would you be willing to give up between? I think it's between Fultz, Suggs, and Anthony Black.
Fultz.
And Cool Anthony. I'm probably gonna give up Cool Anthony, and I'm giving up the rookie.
Anthony Black?
Yeah, giving up Anthony Black, and then maybe a couple first rounds.
Anthony Black could be the next Lonzo Ball for all we
He
know.
could
so.
though. Like that is kind of a hard player to get rid of. If you didn't want to give up a pick like that though, I would maybe like Fultz and Cool Anthony. I don't know. Those are kind of weird players to give up, but
Yeah, I like it. I only got 2 more questions, but is another ESPN top of the line question right here. Is this the last time we've seen the Warriors dynasty in terms of their top 3 intact?
Is this where I go into the whole hot take where, no, this team is still one of the best in the league?
I've been saying yes on this one since last year.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think after this year, I don't know how you continue with this group. Curry's still in his prime, but you got to get more than what you have around him. And right now things are kind of on the downswing of the season. I think they'll turn it around and still be a playoff team, but yeah, they started off pretty high and they haven't looked good since.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been saying yes on this question since last year, even though they made the playoffs last year. I just don't think the Warriors are a great team, and I think this year's proven it a lot. Klay Thompson's been in a complete slump this year, shooting under 30% from 3, or right above 30. He just hit 20 points his first time this year yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's kind of questionable from your number 2 option. Like you said, Curry's been playing great. I don't think he's necessarily in his prime, but Curry's still dropping crazy Curry numbers. He does what he does. But outside of Curry, there's not a whole lot of offense. I mean, Chris Paul's distributing the ball with these boys. Kuminga, haven't been playing a ton. They don't really have a ton of scoring outside of Curry. They need to do something. I think this is the last time we'll see this 3 dynasty together.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to go with as well. I mean, the one thing I think that is not being talked about enough is Bob Myers. He's not the GM anymore. And I think that was the main reason that we've seen this go on for so long. He tried to bring in this youth movement, didn't really work out.
Mm-hmm.
But trying to keep that dynasty together has kind of hurt them in terms of assets. They're sitting on no assets right now. None of their young players are assets. We'll talk a little bit about it later. I don't want to go too deep into it. But Bob Myers is gone now, so look out for Clay to, not get that contract that he's looking for, and Draymond to possibly be shopped. The next question is about Draymond. Was that 5-game suspension enough for you guys? I mean, we've seen him absolutely put a WWE move out and just put Gobert in the full Nelson.
For no reason. Gobert didn't even do anything.
Yeah, I mean, the best moment was on TNT when they showed Charles Barkley did that back in his career.
Oh, yeah.
So that was hilarious. But for me, it's a no. This is a 10 to 15 game suspension to me. Dre should feel this one. It's not like a slap on the wrist. You're out 5 games. Your team can kind of survive. No, this should hurt not only him but his team more than just 5 games. This should hurt up until around, January. He should be out for a while. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree. I mean, when this happened live, I was like, what is Draymond doing? First off, it was Jaden McDaniels and who got
Clay.
into him? Yeah, Clay together right off the rip of the game before a point was
The
even
point
scored.
was even scored, yeah.
And they were getting in a fight, and then I just watched Draymond come out of right field and just start choking
The
Rudy
wrong
Gobert.
guy. The
It
wrong
was just
guy.
trying to break it up and start choking him out. I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I get the NBA. Draymond's a big name. Warriors need the help. Probably don't want to hurt him too bad. 5 games, slap on the wrist. But no, I agree. This should have been like a 10 to 15 for sure. I mean, that wasn't even a basketball play. And like it was legit football, and we've seen Draymond do this every year. So maybe it's just something they're used
to see Ja get a 25-game suspension for having a gun outside of just what I mean. Obviously, his suspension was still deserved, but like this is like.
Oh, this is
as
violence.
Close to like Malice in the Palace the NBA is gonna get.
Yeah,
like this deserved a lot longer than 5 games.
Yeah, imagine taking your like little 4-year-old boy to the basketball game and he's just like sitting up watching, and then he sees Draymond putting this dude in a full chokehold. Like,
it's his first time watching a basketball game. Not a point even starts on the board, and they're sitting there fighting each other and chokeholding.
Yeah,
it's
5
best
games
sport
is
ever.
Crazy.
The last thing I had is we're gonna go through in a couple teams here, not too many, but how concerned are you on a scale of 1 to 10 about these following teams? I'll start with the first one. We kind of, bang the bush on this one, but the Warriors, they're sitting at 7 and 8 right now. But like we talked about, from Moody to Kuminga to, Wiggins not playing great, Clay not playing great, the future, and this is all, I meant to say, this is all in terms of their future. Like, how concerned are you? And in terms of their future, I'm really concerned because you're in this. You have one of the best players in the league still, averaging 30 points a game in Curry, and you have no surrounding help, and you can't blow it up either. Like, what are you going to do? So they're in a tough situation. And I see why Bob Myers left, because I wouldn't want to have that job
get
anymore.
Ugly quick.
Yeah, I'd rather go work for ESPN like he is now and make a lot of money. So,
for my 1 to 10 scale for the Warriors scariness, and if this is for the future of the Warriors, I'm gonna put a radar scale of 7 on how worried I am, and it's more of coming to light this year. You're seeing it. Like, Wiggins has not been looking great at all. Like you said, Klay Thompson hasn't been looking great. There's not much of a supporting cast behind Curry, who's already 34 years old, something around that.
yep.
So yeah, man. I mean, like you said, there's not many assets. You traded Poole, which was probably your biggest asset. I mean, granted, he hasn't been playing great either, so it wasn't a big loss. But I don't see a ton of a bright future after this year for the Warriors. There's going to be some big moves moved. I don't think Clay will be on this team again next year. Warriors are not giving him that contract. I don't know. That's just what I'm going to rate it right now.
Yeah, mine's at 8. I didn't say it, but mine's at 8.
Yeah, I think mine's definitely 8 too. This is just like your last. This season had to go perfect.
Yeah.
And if it didn't go perfect and you didn't win a championship this year, there's just not very much to look forward to in the future.
Yeah. The last couple teams, this all in terms of future. So the Pistons, I mean, obviously right now we're concerned, very concerned, but in their future, they're 2 and 13 right now. Mine's a 10. And here's my reason, is if you look around the league right now, there's teams, I'll name a couple, and the Pacers, the Rockets, the Magic. They're not great, but they have a player they're building around, and they're building that team around with his play style. Mm-hmm. And they knew what they had in Cade Cunningham. And he's getting double team. He's getting sent an extra defender, I feel like, every game I watch the Pistons. And I watch a lot of Pistons because I love Cade Cunningham. And outside of, like, Marcus Sasser, that was a good draft pick so far, they don't have shooting. They have no shooters. Alec Burks, maybe. Like, it's hard to find some shooting on that team. And if you look at somebody like the Pacers are the best example. They got Halliburton, knew what they had in Halliburton, and built the whole team around, we're going to run and gun. We have a center that can shoot threes in Miles Turner. We're not going to get rid of him because he fits our point guard's play style, our best player's play style. And I haven't seen them show the willingness to build around their best player. And I think Cade's getting a lot of undeserved, like, just his team not building around him the right way.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to get the most hate being the best player in that team.
Yeah.
For how worried I am about the Pistons' future, I'm not going to give them as high as a 10. I'm going to give them more around of a 6, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. They have a great amount of players, like good players, like young players, players that can make a name for themselves. For example, like Jalen Duran beginning this season was playing outstanding. Yeah. He's been hurt recently. Cade Cunningham, he's still a dog, but like you said, he's been playing extra defender on him because they can't shoot the ball. I don't think I'm more worried about their future. I'm more worried about this year for them. They need to see kind of how this year goes out. Obviously, they're not going to be great. It's looking off the rip. But they need to start moving some things around, players around, like Bogdanovich. Whenever he comes back, he was a good shooter for him. They need to start building around, in my opinion, 3 players. They need to build around Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duran, and honestly, Asir Thompson. Asir Thompson may not be the best shooter, but that he is someone that's a lockdown. He's averaging 10 rebounds as a shooting guard. Yeah. He's playing really good. He can dime the ball. But yeah, man, they need to start building around what their team fits. So I'm not too worried about their future. I just think they need to make some more moves in the next year or two. But I think they'll be good soon.
I think I'm right there with you. I think a 6, 7 is pretty fair. I definitely understand your point about them just not really building around Cade's like play style. Yeah. But like Kylie said, they have so many young players that are like gonna probably be pretty good in the future. So whether you hold on to them and actually learn how to build around your star player, or you trade them away for more assets to learn how to build around your star player. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw something earlier today too that said like they're 5-35 in their last 40 games, which is insane.
It's terrible. I think a lot of the coaching needs to be reevaluated too. Their coaching has not been good.
Well, they signed the highest paid coach in Monty Williams. So.
Oh, did they? This offseason they did that?
He's the highest paid coach.
Oh my gosh! Well, they got to figure some things out real quick. Maybe my radar score goes up to about a 7.
And that's what I'm saying. The one thing I will push back on is, if you look at a team like the Pacers, they drafted Andrew Nembhard. They got Aaron Nesmith from the Celtics. Like, when I look at the Pistons, they drafted Jaden Ivey, who can't shoot.
Mm-hmm. They don't really got a lot of shooters, though.
They don't. Mm-mm. Like, they drafted Marcus Sasser. He's a good shooter. But outside of that, they got Killian Hayes. Can't shoot. Like, we got to get with the times a little bit. Shooter either. But I'll take that Sir Thompson pick because, like you had talked about, man, he is what every contender. Like, he could play in the 7-game final series right now. Oh yeah, and he'd play because he has the tools. So
he does need to work on developing like consistent shot. But if he can get a shot down, that guy might be one of the best all around players in the league, man.
Yeah. You start with this next one. The Raptors, 6-7, scale 1 to 10. What you think?
I'm gonna say probably right. Am I more concerned about them than the Pistons? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, your best player is Pascal Siakam, who is pretty good, but if that's your number one scoring option, you're kind of in trouble. And OG Anunoby kind of fell off a cliff this season. He's still waiting for him to show up. Scotty Barnes, like, they have a lot of good young pieces, but at some point, like, you have to realize that the core that you have right now just isn't going to work. So whether you trade them away and get a lot of assets and rebuild, I don't know, or you go and get another superstar and add to this team, but I think there's only a very, very short window with this group that you have, and you got to figure it out right now. So I'm going to say like a 7. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
I'll say for my right on the Raptors, which are kind of a weird team this year. Honestly, with the rebuild thing that you talked about, Nate, I think this year is their start of the rebuild, to be honest. Didn't they get a new coach this offseason, the Raptors did?
Yes.
Okay, so they got a new coach. Schroeder's been looking all right. OG Anunoby hasn't been playing great. I looked at his game today. He's been playing good. He has like 4 threes right now.
Of course, the one night. The one night.
He's still a good target, but he's going to be a free agent this next year. This team has pieces. I like Grady Dick. I think he's a phenomenal shooter. He'll be playing very soon, at least more minutes. Scotty Barnes has been playing really good this year. I think they're in the start of the rebuild right now. I think they're kind of just evaluating what kind of pieces they have on their team. But what I would rate them for my worriness in the future, I'll probably give them around a 5 right now. I still think they have pieces to play, but they don't really have like a superstar on their team. Yeah. So I guess, honestly, if they're going to be a young team, I would get rid of Anunoby, like at least get some draft capital or something back, but they need to kind of start building around Scotty Barnes, in my opinion, and then maybe get some pieces to pair with them. I'm not really too worried about their future at the very moment because they have capital.
Real quick to add on to what we were talking about earlier. If we were to add Zach LaVine to this team, with just about like maybe we give up OG.
Yeah.
How would you feel about this team?
The same, probably.
The same.
Okay.
The same.
All right.
I mean, would
Just
they be able
wanted
to
to-
close games a little better? Maybe, but
I don't think they're gonna win much.
I think
more.
that adds 3 wins.
Yeah,
maybe.
it doesn't add much.
Mine's a 5 as well. And I think we seen this in a similar position, not the same. When they had Kyle Lowry and they had DeMar DeRozan, they made a decision. And they flipped, their young kid, DeMar, into Kawhi Leonard.
Franchise.
Their franchise into Kawhi Leonard. Now, are you going to get that same package for Siakam? No. But what I'm saying is they have a decision to make right now. And it's like, do we go full rebuild? Do we completely tank this thing out? Or do we try to get, like Nate said, fizzling out star who doesn't win on their team anymore? So it's going to be interesting to see. So give me a 5 because they have a lot of options. The last team is the Jazz. This is my lowest. This is a 2. And that might sound a little weird, but my reasoning is Danny Ainge. He was my GM for as long as I was a Celtics fan up until now, until Brad Stevens took over. And what that dude will do in terms of draft picks and trades is unreal. I mean, if you just look at his draft picks so far, Walker Kessler, hit. And then Keontae George, another hit.
Mm-hmm.
And Keontae George has been balling. Like, take Clarkson off that team, he's probably averaging, like, a lot more than he is right now. So, like, just steals that he will steal in the draft, trade back, take the player that he really wanted, and he has all these picks that he can flip into assets down the future. So, for that reason, give me a 2. And, yeah, the Jazz, I think the future is bright for you.
Yeah, I was gonna put this right on my list, like 1 or 2 for the Jazz, to be honest. Like you said alone, the GM, what they got from their package from Spida and Gobert, they have so much draft capital in the future. Like, it's absurd how much draft capital they have. I think they're like the second highest, probably right behind OKC's draft capital. But with that as well, they have a good core. Not only do you have Markkanen, who's honestly making his name for a star in this league. Walker Kessler is like everything you want from a center. Jordan Clarkson's getting old. But honestly, if they work this front court out, John Collins has been playing good on this team.
Yeah.
If they work this front court out with some of this draft capital, which in the next coming years, there is some pretty good guards coming up, especially this next coming year. This team has potential to be really good in, I'd say, about 3 or 4 years. They have a lot of really good pieces. For that reason, for their future, I'm rating them like a 2. I'm not worried.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. There's not really too much to add to it. Coming into the season, you didn't really expect to be a competitor in playoffs. So
Yeah.
I think it's just like, yeah, they're another team that has a lot of good core pieces to build around, and they have a bright future with all the assets that they have. So I think the Jazz are in good hands, like you said.
For sure.
Really good hands.
Like, if Danny Ainge is calling my phone and I'm opposing GM, I'm not even answering because I know I'm about to get fleeced, bro. He's about to talk me into something stupid that looks dumb 5 years later. But, yeah, man, that was a fun pod. Good stuff. Check out our Twitter for bets, man. We're going to be putting them on there. Kyler's going to smack some. Nate's going to smack some. You know I'm coming, man. Pause. But it was real, yo.
Peace.